Stop recording.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody is doing well on this snowy Sunday evening. Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about how to know and when to know when to call it quits in a relationship. And the reason why I'm doing this video is because one of my friends is going through a very rough time in her relationship. And, this is somebody who I've known for many years. A very good friend of mine. I've known her since 2006. We went to Perkins School for the Blind together, and we really don't talk that much due to our busy lives. But anyway, I was taking a nap this afternoon, and she called me. And, she vented to me about what's going on. And she said to me, should I call it quits? And I said, well, it's up to you. I can't tell you that. I can't, it's completely up to you. And she said, well, I love him, but I'm just, meaning her boyfriend, I love him, but I'm just not happy in the relationship anymore, she said, due to things that are going on in the relationship. Which I will not get into out of respect for her and the privacy of her. I don't like to, tell other people's business. But she's going through a really rough time in her relationship right now with her boyfriend. And I said, well, I'm going through some struggles myself and everything and in my life, and we just got to talking and everything, and she said, what's going on with you? And I told her that some things that are going on right now with me, so I'm like, listen, I said, if you want to call it quits with this guy, then that's what you should do. Nobody deserves to be in a relationship where they're not happy. She feels as though he is not being a good boyfriend. He's not there for her. He goes out with his friends all the time. Instead of spending time with her, he doesn't put her first. He's doing all the wrong things and all the things that you should not do when you're in a relationship. See, when you're in a relationship, no matter what, you have to put the other person first. And you have to accommodate them and all that good stuff that goes with a relationship. And this is not a long distance relationship. They live together. They see each other every day. They live in Florida. Lucky them. And I'm not going to say their names. That's not necessary. I don't need to do that. Out of respect for the two of them and their privacy and everything. So, folks, if you're in this similar situation if you're in their situation or in a similar situation where you feel as though your significant other is not being there for you, talk to them about it. And if they still don't listen, then you might want to think about calling it quits, because honestly, why be miserable? Why? Because you love them? I understand that. I do. I understand that. But at the same time, you you got to think about yourself too, and what you need and what your needs are. It's all good to accommodate your significant other and everything when you're in a relationship, and it's really good to try your hardest, which is what I do. But there comes a point where if you feel that things just aren't going anywhere, then you might want to just say, "Hey, listen, things aren't going anywhere here. I feel like I'm not being heard. I feel like you're not listening to me. I feel like you're not being a good boyfriend to me or a good girlfriend to me, whatever the case is for you. Um, I think it's time to call it quits. We tried, but it's just not working for me." And it's okay to say that, right? It's okay to say that. What's the worst that's going to happen? Your significant other might get mad, but who cares? I mean, not who cares, but I mean, if a relationship is not working for you, why stay in it? Why stay in it, right? You can find someone so much better, someone who will listen to you, someone who will talk to you on a regular basis, someone who will be there for you emotionally if they can't be physically. Really, there are better fish in the sea, and there are more fish in the sea, and it's honestly not worth you being miserable if you are. It's not. So many people say, "Well, I'm staying with him because I love him. I'm staying with her because I love her." Well, that's nice, but I mean, you know, if you're not here's the key, okay? Listen, 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 listen. Here's the key. If you're not happy in the relationship, talk to your significant other about it. If he or she doesn't listen to you, and if you feel like you're not being heard, then maybe it's time for you to say, "All right, listen, I've talked to you. I've tried to tell you what I want and how I feel. And I feel like you're not listening to me, and I feel like I'm not being heard. So things aren't working out for me in this relationship. Maybe we should call it quits and see what they say." Because you know what? At least if you call it quits, at least you've tried your hardest in the relationship. You know, at least you've tried your hardest, and accommodated that person, and you did everything for them, and everything. And if that person is not meeting your needs, whatever those needs are, and if that person is not listening to your opinions and what you have to say, then, and if they're not being there for you, then, and if they're not communicating with you and all that good stuff, then you might want to think about calling it quits. And I know breakups are hard. Listen, I've been through 6 of them. I know. I dated this girl back in 2014. Let's see, 5. Let's see, what's it? Was it 5? 5 years ago, yeah. And wait a minute. 2017. I don't know. Anyway, it was back in 2014. We dated for 6 months. All right. Her parents broke us up because they were, no, her mom and her grandparents broke us up because they were controlling over her. It took me over 2 years to get over her. So, breakups are hard, but sometimes it just must be done, you know? If you're, if you're young, you have your whole life ahead of you. Um, it's just, there's no point, you guys, there's no point in staying in a relationship if you're not happy with who you're with. There's no point. There's no point. There's no point. Yes, you might love them, but if you're not happy and if your needs aren't getting met, and if they're not there for you, if they're not being there for you, then what's the point? Okay. All right. Folks. Let's use this as an example. Okay. I'm just using this as an example. Okay. Let's just say, for giggles, for shits and giggles, that your relation, let's just say, for shits and giggles, that your significant other says, I have a lot going on, in my life, and I'm too busy. I'm too busy to talk to you. I don't think I can talk right now. You think that's a healthy relationship? Everybody's busy, but it's all about making time to talk to your significant other. No, that's not a healthy relationship. If your significant other doesn't talk to you for no reason, for 2 weeks or a month, that's not a healthy relationship. And that's when you need to say to yourself, okay, what am I doing here? Why am I wasting my time if the other person, if he or she is not working with me? Something, I guess, just, I don't know, maybe just snaps in our minds and just says, hey, buddy, what are you doing here? What are you doing? Why are you wasting your time? And the answer would be, well, because I love him, or, well, because I love her, and I want things to work out in the relationship. But you know what? If you have invested all the time that you feel that you can invest, and you feel like the relationship isn't going anywhere, then it might be time to really seriously talk to your significant other about how you're feeling, and be honest. Be honest. Remember, in my video from this afternoon, I talked about honesty. Be honest. Tell him or her how you feel, and if they don't listen to you, then it might just be time to call it quits, because it's a horrible feeling not being heard. It's a horrible feeling when it seems like your significant other just doesn't care. Nobody deserves that. Everybody deserves to be loved. And I'll tell you what a healthy relationship is. A healthy relationship is good communication, accommodating each other, consistency, talking, meeting each other's needs. That's a healthy relationship. Yes, it is. That is a healthy relationship right there. All the things that I just mentioned, that's a healthy relationship. But what my friend is experiencing right now with her boyfriend is not a healthy relationship. So, folks, if you feel, you know, like your relationship, sorry, if you feel like your relationship is not going anywhere, then maybe, you know, maybe it's time that you call it quits. But you have to know when to call it quits. If you know that you've tried your hardest and things just aren't working out for you, then okay, I guess call it quits. It, you know, um, and maybe you guys just aren't meant to be together. Maybe you guys would just be better off as friends, you know? That's really up to you. I can't tell anyone, okay, call it quits. If you're having trouble if you're having trouble in your relationship, call it quits, because calling it quits is not, you know, calling it quits is not the, it's not always the answer. You want to try to work things out. But if the other person is not working with you, then what's the point? Right? What's the point? If you're feeling like, why did I get myself into this mess? If you're feeling like she's not listening to me, she's not being a good girlfriend, or vice versa, he's not listening to me. If you're a woman, he's not listening to me. He's not being a good boyfriend. I feel like I'm not being heard, even though I keep even though I try to talk to him or her. Then, and if you're not happy and if you're miserable, that's when it might be time to just call it quits and move on. Now let's talk about moving on. So, when a breakup happens, it's not always a good idea to jump into another relationship right away. Because you're still trying to get over your last relationship. So there's no set time where you say, okay, so tomorrow I will be moved on from her or from him and things will be great. No, it doesn't work that way. There's, you're going to move on from her or him when you're ready to move on from him or her. That's the way. Nobody can tell you, hey, why don't you move on already? No, it doesn't work that way. It's something that you have to, moving on can be hard, especially if you really love or loved your significant other. But you do move on. It does happen. Sometimes it takes a short amount of time, and sometimes it takes a long time, even years. So there's no set time, to move on. When you're ready, you'll move on. So, folks, I hope this helps. If you're in a bad relationship, or if you're in a relationship that you're not happy in, talk to your significant other. If he or she doesn't listen to you, or if you feel like you're not being heard, and if you feel like you've tried your hardest, but things just aren't working out, then maybe, maybe it's time to call it quits. But remember, don't do anything that you're going to regret. Okay? Don't do anything that you're going to regret, because you might call it quit. Let's just say if you call it quits and you realize, no, I really want to be with that person. And then let's just say if the other person doesn't want to get back into a relationship with you, so what? Yeah, if you decide to call it quits, make sure that's what you want to do. All right? All right. Love is a very powerful thing, but if you're not happy, that's not good. Everybody deserves to be happy and loved. So, I hope all of you take something out of this video. And y'all take care.